A lot of people have been curious if we will continue to live off-grid through the winter, and the answer is no. We decided to rent somewhere. So let's talk about that. In this video, I will go over like our decision-making process, and I will also give you a tour of where we are currently staying. And for those of you who are new to my channel, my family and I moved to some off-grid property in the mountains of Southwest Virginia with the goal of starting a homestead and building a house debt-free. So we have been living off-grid for a little over a year. We moved onto our property in March after it had already started to warm up a little bit. We live in a 3-season camper, so being off-grid in the winter in that camper is kind of difficult. Last winter we traveled out west and kind of stayed where it was warm. We went to South Texas, South Arizona, South New Mexico, and we just kind of hung out over there during January and February. And then we came back in March and started our homestead on our new property that has no amenities, no running water, no electricity, any of that stuff. So we've just been living on our property, kind of getting stuff set up. I have a whole playlist. You can go and watch that if you are curious after this video. So first, let's talk about why we decided to live off grid. One is to save money. We have had basically zero housing expenses for the entire year. We are currently living, like, our base budget is only $850 a month. It is really, really low. We are really, really frugal. There's so much freedom in being able to have very low bills and not having to pay for housing, electricity, water, all of that. Those are all modern conveniences, which kind of leads me into the second reason why we decided to live off grid. Is just to learn skills and to learn how to be self-sufficient. So, like, we are so used to, as a culture, being able to turn on the faucet to have running water, using electricity to power so many things in our lives, and really getting down to the basics and learning how to take care of yourself has been very, very educational and beneficial to our lives. We do eventually want to build a house and have modern amenities again, and we are very excited to be in a house now, but living through that process has been really cool. I also just love being outside and being in nature and being really, really in tune and in touch with nature and learning all the things that nature has to offer us. There are certainly things that I am going to miss about being off grid, and I am very excited for spring to come around for us to be able to go back and have all those experiences again when the weather is not so cold. So we've been kind of thinking about whether or not we were going to stay in our camper through the winter for the last few months, kind of like making our decision and trying to figure out like the pros and cons. And we just ultimately decided that spending the money to rent somewhere through the winter was going to just be the best decision for our entire family. When it's warm, you can go outside, and we're outside all day long, but in the winter, it's, you know, nobody really wants to be outside in the cold all day. It's a time for like being cozy and resting, and we just really wanted to give everybody in our family a time to just have their own personal space inside during the winter, so we were not all cramped in our small camper. Campers are also not very insulated, and while there are things you can do to keep them warm, last winter we got down to -4 and we were able to keep our camper, you know, in the 70s still. There's still a lot that goes into keeping yourself warm and everything functioning in something that's not really designed to be lived in through the winter full time. It was just going to be a lot of extra work to you know, keep the pipes from freezing, keeping the camper warm, you know, keeping the humidity low in the camper. There's just a lot of factors that come into play, and that was going to take a lot of time from us. And we really weighed the pros and the cons, financially, time-wise, how much work it was going to be. And we just ultimately decided that it was going to be more cost-effective for us to rent somewhere. And I'm going to be sharing all of like the information on how much it's costing us in a budget video that I am going to be doing next. I'll put that out in the next day or so. So make sure that you are watching for that video. If you're curious about how much we're actually spending on rent where we're at now. But some of the factors that come into play is not only are we renting somewhere, but this place comes fully furnished. It includes, you know, all of our kitchen appliances, you know, obviously electricity, running water, hot water. Everything is included in the price that we are paying to stay here. We have a washer and dryer, so I'm not gonna have to go to the laundromat. We have a refrigerator and freezer, so we'll be able to eat for even less than what we were already. I can meal prep again. And also, you know, I have this YouTube channel and I feel like I can be a lot more relatable to people who are trying to save money and live in a normal house. So I'll be able to do a lot more videos on meal prepping and all the things that I used to do. So while we're not working on our homestead as much this winter, we can really focus on YouTube and trying to get out really useful, valuable videos for you guys so that maybe I can make a little bit more money on YouTube over these months while we're just cozying in our house and are not having to work so hard to meet our basic needs. I feel like my life is going to be super easy peasy in the coming months. I usually don't look forward to winter because it is so cold. Even like that was one reason why we moved to Florida previously, is because I don't really like the cold. I like to be warm, but heat is included in our rent payment, so I can make our house nice and toasty and I can take as many hot baths as I want to while we're here. So the house that we rented is really close to our property. We will still be going to our property basically every day. We will still be working on our property and doing things on our property and cooking on our property, having bonfires, hanging out, you know, spending time with our animals. We have, you know, our horses that we have to take care of and our chickens. Our dogs and cats can come with us. Cats will come with us if they want to most of the time, definitely when it's real cold. But you know, like we're really close. We're still gonna be on our property a lot. We still have a lot of things that we wanna do. But when we're not working on the property, when we're not there hanging out, we have somewhere to come that is warm and cozy. So we have this place rented out through January. In February, we are going to be going on a trip that I will share with you guys later once we get that planned a little bit better. And then we plan to go back to our property in March when we get back from our February trip. I'll share the details of all of that as they happen in the future. I wanted to share some key points that I have learned through this decision-making process. Number one is that nothing is permanent. You are able to make decisions and that decision not be a permanent decision. Like, I think a lot of people are scared to make decisions because they feel like once they make it, that is like their permanent situation. A very common question I get asked is, what are we gonna do when we're too old to homestead? Like, why even work on building this life where we are self-sufficient and living on our property and growing our own food, fixing our own things, like doing stuff self-sufficiently? And I have a hard time answering that question because, like, I don't think we're going to be doing this forever. Like, as we get older, things will transition and we will do what we can do while we can, and we'll make plans for when we get older. The concept of not doing something because one day you might not be able to do it is not something that I really think about, because at that point I will transition into something else or find a new way to do it, or, you know, like, I'm capable and able of doing things now and for a very long time. So it's all a process that isn't permanent. You can make changes to your decisions. It's really important to be adaptable and to constantly be thinking about what you could change to make your situation better. That's even if you think you have made a permanent decision. Like, you can always change your mind or tweak your plan. And going into like the property and buying our property, knowing we were going to eventually build a house and moving onto it in our camper off grid, like we knew that that didn't have to be a permanent decision. If we got tired of doing it, we could always rent somewhere while we were working on building our house, or, you know, just there's a multitude of plans that you can have in that situation. But that was a really good decision for us temporarily, and we saved so much money and had such a cool experience living off grid on our property. And we still plan on doing that in the future, like once it's not freezing outside and once spring hits. Once we build our house, we want to build our house off grid, and we are just learning a lot of skills as we go that are really going to benefit us in the decision-making process moving forward, building a more permanent house, putting more permanent systems in place. It's really important for us to learn the things that we've learned over the last few months. Another comment I always get on my videos is just that I will never be able to survive without a 9-to-5 job. The life that we're living right now is temporary and it's not sustainable. But I have been living without a 9-to-5 job for over 5 years. I have been able to make it work. We have been able to do things without a 9-to-5 job, and that living really frugally and then having the ability to make choices and changes is possible. And like if you have the mindset that it's not possible and you're too scared to take a calculated risk, like don't just quit your job and hope that everything works out. Like you do need a plan and goals and all of that stuff. But like, what if you can live without a 9-to-5 job? What if you can get out of the rat race? What if you can make enough money and live a life that is sustainable enough that you don't have to work for somebody else, making somebody else money? What if you can just work for yourself and spend the time doing the things that you want to do or need to do in order to live the life that you want? Like that is possible because I've been doing it. It is sustainable for us. And, you know, like it is scary to take risk, but to think that it's impossible is so, would be such a disappointment to not ever give yourself the freedom to try. Another key point is break the rules. It is okay to break the rules. Like the rules society has for us, you do not have to follow those rules. Be a rule breaker. Make your own choices. Do things your own way. Like we were told that we had to keep our 9-to-5 job and own a house and stay in our house and keep doing all the things that everybody else is doing. But like we chose not to do that. Even now that we're trying to build a homestead and build our house, there's still rules within the community that we're supposed to follow and things we're supposed to do. But we're just not those people. We're just gonna do things the way that we wanna do them, the way that things are going to work for us. And, you know, that's okay. You have to live your own life and not follow somebody else's rules. You do not have to know every step of the journey. You just have to know the end goal, where you're trying to get, and you don't have to know every single thing that's gonna happen along the way. What is important is that you are adaptable, you are willing to change, learn, grow, fail, and keep going towards that goal. If we thought that we were just going to buy a raw piece of land and immediately build a house on it and have all of the things that we needed, like we would have never started, because that task is daunting. Like it's okay that we have not built a house yet. Building a house is a huge undertaking. We knew that it was going to take a long time. We want to do this debt-free. We want to do most of it ourselves. We will contract out some work, but we have a goal. We know where we're going, but it's okay if we like get there a different way than expected, or than just one straight path, or the path that everybody expects us to take. You do not ever have to be trapped in any decision that you make. This like applies across the board. Like if you go to school and get a certain major in college, you don't have to keep doing that major if it is not something that is benefiting your life. If you have a job that you hate, you can look for another job. You do not have to be committed to that job, to that career, to the city that you live in, to the life that you're currently living. Like it is okay to change your mind and to change your path. Growth is not linear. You are not going to constantly be following the same path at like this linear growth curve where you are like learning, doing things this way, right? Progress and learning is like mountains and valleys. Like you are going to make progress and then you're going to maybe backtrack a little bit, make progress, like just level off. You know, the point being is that if you start down here, you eventually get up here where you want to be, but it doesn't have to be like that. It can be like this. You can change your mind, you can fail, you can quit things, you can have extreme intensity in learning things and then back off and just maintain that progress, or even, you know, you can go back a little bit and then you can like intensify again. And it's just following the seasons. Right now we are on chill on our property. We're just going to maintain our current level of what we have going on. And then this spring, when it gets warmer, we will start back up again. And it is okay for things to be hard. Like it is hard for me to post this because I know that I'm gonna get negative comments and people are gonna tell me I quit and I failed and all that stuff. But I do not see it that way whatsoever. Like we are making progress. We are moving forward. We are doing the things that we want to do on our timeline by our rules. And don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your goals. Struggle teaches you resilience. Every time you fail, you are learning. When you struggle, you're learning. So just keep going. So this is the house we are staying in. We have a beautiful piano that nobody really knows how to play, so we've been making beautiful music. We just got here yesterday, so are still unpacking all of our stuff that we brought with us. Got this big dining room table, and there's a full bath down here with a shower. We have, look, we have heat, which we came here perfectly because it is so cold. It got down to freezing last night. We have a kitchen with an oven, which had that in our camper. A dishwasher. I'm so excited about the dishwasher. We have a refrigerator and freezer. It's the little things in life that are exciting now. This is a new product that I am testing. This is an electric composter, and you put your stuff in there and it composts your food scraps and like paper products and stuff. That I'm gonna be doing a video on that in the future, but I've been getting a lot of people sending me products. That needs to go off. Look, we have an electric coffee maker. Look, running water. And then this is the living room. We have a television. And then I'm not gonna take you upstairs because that's everyone's private room up there. But there is an upstairs, and there's 3 bedrooms and a bathroom up there. But let's go. It's also like this awesome outdoor space. The fenced in yard. And that box right there is a grill that I'm gonna be testing out. It's like an off-grid grill. And then also this little fire pit. We also have our very own washer and dryer in the basement down here, so I don't have to go to the laundromat this winter. So yeah, we are super excited to be here. Again, I will post the budget video soon and I'll tell you guys how much we're paying for this. In the comments, why don't you guess how much we're paying for rent here? That includes all of our utilities, trash pickup, water, washer and dryer, all that stuff. Let me know how much you think we might be paying. And then when I get the video done, I will post it up here so you guys can go check that out. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you next time.